So I just saw this clip on Twitter and I got really excited for a second. I thought maybe, just maybe, Temi Fagbenle was ready to come back for the Indiana Fever. But it appears that she's getting very close, but she won't be there. A lot of people were saying, Temi Fagbenle's back, Christy Wallace. Look, they're not going to play Alyssa Smith at 3. I doubt that. Christy Wallace is going to be starting. I don't know what she brings necessarily that Lexi Hull doesn't. I think Hull's the better player. Either way, though, she wasn't too bad. But, it says right here, Temi Fagbenle remains out for these games. But she's got to be close. She has got to be extremely, extremely close to being back, which is great if you are somebody that is a fan of the Indiana Fever. If you're somebody that's looking for the Fever, like to win games, she is not far from being back. Before we get on to, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are, we are less than 150 away from 10k. We can hit that in the next, if we can hit that in the next, let's just say 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks, Jesus. We can hit that in the next, day. I'm trying to hopefully be able to hit this before we get to the, game tomorrow. If we do, great. If we don't, not the end of the world. But yeah, Temi Fagbenle, though. She has been the best teammate for Caitlin Clark so far this year. Temi Fagbenle, right here, has been Caitlin Clark's best teammate. And what I mean by that is she the best player on this Indiana Fever team? No. As far as talent is concerned, she's probably the 5th best player. Like, their big 4, they're probably one of the only teams that have 4 players capable on any given night of giving you 20. And on any given night, all 4 of them can give you 20. Because you could maybe argue the Connecticut Sun have that. I think you could probably argue that the Liberty have that. Because, Vandersloot, any given night might give you that amount. But there's no team that has 4 scorers like the Indiana Fever do. And then you have got Temi Fagbenle in the team, who is the perfect center. She is the perfect big for Caitlin Clark because she just runs. Temi Fagbenle just runs. She was a revelation. She was the runner. She was the better player. She was the better of her and Aaliyah Boston. I was genuinely do we push Aaliyah Boston out of the starting lineup? She was that good. Look, the way Aaliyah Boston's playing right now, you obviously don't do that. But Temi Fagbenle, up to this point in the season, you can see on Basketball Reference, averaging 9.1 points, 6 rebounds a game. And as far as the game logs are concerned, you can see by the end, she was playing 31, 26, 32. And she had a 17-point game in their win against the Sparks. They were 1-4 when she was there. Against the Sparks, she didn't do too much the second time, but she was playing extremely well. And she is the perfect center for a Caitlin Clark because she will just run as hard as she can to the basket. And she knows that, okay, if I run, Caitlin Clark's going to find me. And the crazy thing is that the way the Fever are playing now, she's going to be even better. There's going to be a video I'm going to talk about is I think the Fever, the way they're playing right now, are they're not going to be the best team this year. They're not going to be the best team next year. But this is a team where you're this could be the best team in the WNBA soon. 1 to 2 additions because of the pace of play. Teams can't deal with the tempo. It's how they got back into some games. It's the reason why they got killed by the Connecticut Sun, and it's the reason they got killed by the Liberty a couple of times, is that they never let Indiana dictate the tempo. But if Indiana start playing some defense and then they've got runners, you can even see in the game yesterday a couple of times the ball just got inbounded and immediately Caitlin Clark just looked up and threw it ahead. It didn't matter who the ball got inbounded to. It got inbounded quick off a score and Caitlin Clark just launch it up. And it's sometimes there's going to be turnovers, but you can afford turnovers if it means that you're pushing the pace and you're dictating the pace of the game. And it's something that the WNBA teams, I don't think, are going to be able to deal with. And Temi is the most important person, other than Caitlin Clark, for the Indiana Fever to play this style of play. And her coming back in the lineup, she's there. She's participating in full practices. She's participating in warm-ups now. It is literally a case, according to Christy Sides, of the Indiana Fever team waiting. They're not going to let her play unless the medical team gives the all clear. She's participating in everything. She's good to go. And the fact is that, like, because she's been participating in everything, she's been playing, she's been at practice, the easing in period shouldn't be too bad. She's almost game ready. And it's not like she's going to be out till the Olympics or anything. Maybe they don't want to rush her in against the Sky. Maybe they didn't want to rush her back this week because they're playing 3 games in 5 days, which is understandable. But Temi's coming back soon, and regardless of the result tomorrow, that starting 5 of, like, they just need a small forward. Like, if you can keep Temi next year, I need to know what Temi's contract is, because I think she's a restricted free agent. So, but she is going to command, like, it's 1 year, 76,000 deal. So she's going to command a decent amount of money. You're probably losing Katie Lou in the expansion draft. So you're still going to get something pretty decent. You're still going to have a lot of salary cap. And then you've got the max contract spot from Erica Wheeler. If you have Temi, Aaliyah Boston, the 2 of those sharing, and Melissa Smith, the 3 of those rotating in the 4-5 positions, and then if you can just manage to get somebody that can remotely play the 4, if you can get a 3-4, like they're all 4-5s, if you can get a 3-4 somewhere in the mold of a Katie Lou just for cheaper, or you can draft someone that plays that role, even just a small forward with a little bit of size, and you're just rotating those 4 players at the 4-5, that's all you need, because you're sort of, you need just one of those bench players, and you just need a 3 who will run the floor as well. But Temi coming back is going to make this team so tough to beat. This, like, the Fever are still going to struggle offensively in the half court. They're still going to be beatable by a team that can just outgun them, because do you want to know what one of the most important things is for the pace of the game? Is getting stops. It's getting stops, but you're even seeing it now when the ball is going in, they're just inbounding as quick as possible. This is a team that, with Temi Fagbenle in, is going to get 10 easy points extra a game. Like, Temi will average the guts of 10 points a game from just running and Caitlin Clark finding her wide open under the basket. Like, she will get 10 points a game from just outrunning other team centers. And we've seen it in the league this year. We've seen it in, we saw it in college games even, where teams could not keep up with Hannah Stuelke. And Stuelke does not nearly have the size of Temi. Like, Temi was arguably the best player on a great London Lions team this year. Like, I'd love to see, I don't know what the free agency status is, but I'd love to see someone like a Megan Gustafson come in as a backup big from the Aces, obviously for the Fever, because she'll just run up and down. So, yeah, I just think it's a really interesting team, and I think the missing piece for them to really go over the edge is Temi, because this team is figuring it out and figuring out a style of play that makes them so tough to stop. Like, the only game they haven't pushed the tempo in the last 4 winning streak was the first game against the Dream, and that was one of the worst games they played. But against the Sky, against the Mystics, and especially against this Atlanta Dream team, they are literally just outgunning teams. They're playing at a pace of play that teams just don't know how to deal with at this level. And when Temi comes back, they're going to be even harder, going to be even better. Are they instantly going to be contenders? Of course not. Of course not. Their 2 best players are 22 years old. Are they going to be one of the best teams in 5 years' time? I don't see how they're not. I don't see how this team, with a better coach, you can keep the big 4. Because scores like Kelsey Mitchell don't grow on trees. They don't. All-star level scores, especially because she's cool with not touching the ball 4 possessions in a row. Yeah, she's a black hole, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't get the ball that much. So, you keep Kelsey Mitchell, you keep Caitlin Clark, you keep Aaliyah Boston, you keep Melissa Smith, you keep Temi Fagbenle, and you do whatever the hell you want for the rest of that team. All you need is one more borderline all-star level player, not like a perennial all-star, even a borderline all-star. Again, if you get Dejanay Carrington on a max deal into that contract, the Connecticut Sun probably can't match it. That is a team that will be a contender. Probably not next year, but it wouldn't surprise me. And Temi is she is a massive reason for that. And unfortunately, she's not going to be back for this game tomorrow. But the fact that she's close to coming back means that in this 6-game road trip that they're already 1 game in, they go and play 4 really tough road games before they go and play. And they play against the, is it 6 games before they play against the Wings? And the Wings are just the worst team I've ever seen. So they're going to win that game, but they play a bunch of hard games in a row, and everyone's just assuming they're going to lose. Temi's a difference maker, especially with her defense, her rebounding, her athleticism that Melissa Smith and like Boston don't have. That they don't have that speed. Her being in the lineup is going to make this team so much better, especially against the better teams. And I'm actually really excited about this Fever team. I think they're going to be closer than we think to 500 on the year. They're going to be in that 7th slot, probably get killed first round of the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to be brilliant.